Okay, so another way to collect pee is using a diaper, because they're so absorbent. They're actually better than a pee pad, really, because the pee pads will leak, but the diapers really absorb well. Also, with his towels, make sure they don't cover his nose, because then he's breathing in these towels. So once again, this side works for me very easily because I've gotten into the habit of using my right hand for support and draining with the left. And once I have a system, I have kind of a hard time switching it. So you will always see me using my right hand for support and left for draining. So again, I'm going to lift him up slightly. These will itch, so just be careful when you're putting these on that you're not actually accidentally scratching. And again, here's the bladder, and it's kind of full, so if you're putting your hand this way, or if it's really full, you do it with a fist and it'll come out too. So just be careful you don't get pee all over yourself. And make sure you're always washing your hands too. Rob is at the point where he can no longer pee at all on his own. Prior to this, I was able to put a diaper on him like this and just keep it loose. So if he peed in the nighttime, he was still dry. I didn't have to tighten it or anything. But now that he can't pee on his own, I still like the diaper because it's really absorbent, as it should be. So I gave him a break between the last draining, and here's his bladder here. You can see it's really full. And I'm going to just support it with the left. And in this case, I might even be able to put a little pressure here. Watch your fingernails too, if your fingernails are too long. Here we go. Well, that wasn't much, but you can see it whisks it right away, so you don't have to worry about it. But it's the other problem with the diaper. It always wants to fold up. And if you're pulling this way, be careful you don't pull his weenie underneath him. You got to watch that, because that just kind of goes with the flow. There we go. And it's just pressure. I'm lifting him up a little bit in the back and kind of turning. I try to imagine if he was really peeing on his own, which way he would position his body. Okay, he's being drawn this way because your knee is there. If he's leaning this way, he might drain well, so I might give him a little support under his back. I don't usually use this blanket. It's just I washed his other blankets. And again, even though you can feel it, if it's just not coming out, just change your hand positions until it does. Don't force it. Just a firm pressure should have the pee come out. If you feel you're pushing too hard, you probably are. And just give it a little break, and you can see how now it's already going down. Even with my hand underneath, I mean, you can really see it's emptying. Sometimes I just like to feel here. Get off me. Feel here, and I can already have it drained. This is also why I keep a fan on him all the time, even on a low level, because flies aren't going to land on him if there's a fan. And I always watch, and you always have to watch to make sure nothing, it gets wet, sweaty feeling in there. So you want to make sure it stays dry. So now I'm going to just try one more time. It feels pretty nice and drained, but again, don't push it. If it feels like it's just not happening, then call it good for now. And check in an hour or whenever, because it's better to just keep a nice draining, keep lots of liquids, so he's constantly flushing out his system. So better to check his bladder often. I like to check his bladder essentially every time I look at him, which is a lot, because I'm always worried. If he does not have his bladder drained, see, this is what happens to the fan, then he's at risk for a urinary tract infection, or worst case scenario, his bladder will rupture because he's not getting the signal to pee. Even if it's super full, he won't pee. So, and then I'm just lift it up slightly, and sometimes he stretches his legs to take this out, because if you pull, it just pulls everything out of line. And then I always put these back, because again, this is the bone I worry about right here, and sometimes it gets a little red, so I want to make sure. And I try to give it enough space so he's got some air, you know, because look at it, it's like just like a man, they stick and cause trouble. And here I'm gonna give him a little support under his arm, kind of like yoga bricks except towels, just to offer some support. And that's how I do it with this.